Bob Stauffer tweeted out his projected lines for next season, and at the bottom, he put subject to change with a little winky face. So part 2 of the delicious debate. Do you think Stan Bowman's done? I think he's done. I think this is the group. This is the team the Oilers are going to roll with in the next season.
I still think that there's a goalie change afoot at some point.
Before the season?
Yeah.
Like a free agent, like a backup even?
Yep. I think that there's something that's going to change. I know that the name has been floated out a few times, and I'm starting to kind of...
What name?
The
Fleury.
Carter Hart.
I'm hearing Marc-André Fleury.
Yeah,
I could see Fleury as well. That was
reached out for that.
That was the Franck account that put that out first and had that. But I still think that there's just going to be a wild card in that position that we haven't thought of, even with maybe it isn't a Fleury, maybe it isn't a Nuka-Pekka Luukkonen, maybe it's something else. But I still think goaltending.
There was a legit report though before Franck got to it. That, like Fleury was available. Franck just put out that Fleury signed with
just to start the fire.
Yeah. We've not been duped by Franck, everyone.
But no, yeah, that's a legit thing. Colby and I talked about it today on DFO Live that like the Oilers would be a team that could maybe have a shot at convincing Fleury to come out of retirement. And
didn't his agent come out and say like 5 teams contacted him on July 1?
Yeah, Alan Walsh had a tweet about it.
Yeah, he didn't specify who.
No,
but I mean,
we do be.
I'd be very surprised if we didn't.
I know everyone's
pick the
saying
phone up and just make a phone call and ask.
I know everyone's saying Sorokin and Frank, the real Frank, said on the big program with Kevin Karius the other day that there's been rumblings about Sorokin. And listen, we'll get to this in the news, so we won't go into this now. The only way to get someone with the capita of a Sorokin is to trade someone making $8 to $9 million. The Oilers obviously aren't going to be able to trade someone making $8 to $9 million.
We're not going to be able to trade $2-3 million guys either. Just for the record here, EA Sports traders.
Yeah. So I just think they're done because they're cap strapped. Unless there's a low cost goalie, I should say, not low end, low cost goalie that's out there. Because I know you mentioned UPL, and I know you're just riffing names, but people keep bringing him up.
Yep.
You need to clear out $5 million to get him. Okay, Pickard's contract is one. Where's the rest of the money coming from?
That's
you're committed.
That's the largest contract out there of the guy who might be movable.
But people keep saying him, but
2 years ago,
you're not getting him. You're not convincing him to waive to go to Buffalo.
This is
I mean, you might have to
dump him somewhere and
Rexall GCs on the side or something like that. I don't know.
In Buffalo?
Well, I don't know. The Rexall's like a North American company, aren't they?
No, it's strictly Canadian.
Well, it's pretty close to Toronto.
It's not fun. You could drive.
Adam Henrique is an Ontario boy, but I don't think you're convincing a guy that late in his career to I'll rot away in Buffalo for a little bit.
You already did that in Anaheim for years.
Yeah,
and he turned down Winnipeg.
I think that we're gonna see PTO and a backup goalie.
Oh, PTO, everyone.
There's some good players still out there. Like I know he's well for PTO candidates. Well, the top guy's still available. Matt Grizzly, Jack Roslovic, and Jeff Skinner. I would imagine those guys get contracts before it's all out. Luke Cunnin, someone the others have shown interest in before. Brett Leeson, 26-year-old right winger, another name that Bob Stauffer has thrown out there quite a few times. The player everyone loved a couple of years ago, Jacob Verana, is currently a free agent.
He's so funny because whenever he plays, he scores so much.
So often.
But he just can't play anywhere.
Jacob Lauko, 25-year-old from the Bruins last season. There's a few guys you could look at and be like, oh, he's a PTO. Noah Gregor.
You can offer, but do you think they would come here? Just when you look at the roster we have, you probably have 15, maybe 16 forwards in your way?
I think it's not always about signing for that team. I think it's about showcasing.
That is fair too. And even that though, if you were to come to a team like this, do you think you get the opportunity in camp, in exhibition games, to show off when you have these other guys ahead of you that are trying to, especially younger guys ahead of you, trying to crack the lineup? Okay, I can see our coaching staff go, why would you want to play a 27-year-old in exhibition games when you have 22 and 23-year-olds to play?
But just for example, Noah Gregor, 26. If he comes in and outplays Janmark and Kapanen and Tomasek, I think that's actually not as bad of a spot for a PTO guy to come in and do.
I think it'll take a lot to convince his coaching staff Janmark's not on the opening night roster.
Yeah, I agree. But I just think that it's not out of the question. I think there's a lot of spots available on New Orleans despite how full the roster is.
Do you think there is a way to move the Henrique contract and then replace him with, say, one of the PTOs that Liam just brought up at a much lower $1 million cost? There's got to be somewhere that he'd be like, all right, that's not terrible.
But I think if there was somewhere where Henrique went yes, I'm willing to go there, and that team's like, we will take him at $3 million and give you a 4th rounder or whatever you'd want for him. I feel like it's done already.
You think it's done already?
July 2, July 3.
There's no team out there who's gonna we'll wait a couple days into UFA season, see if there's you know what, Henrique might be our Henrique might be our best.
Probably around camp time.
Or do we have to wait for a summer injury to pop up?
Well, yeah, guys get injured all the time, don't they, in training camp? Like someone gets injured, it's like, hey, like we'll take Frederick. But also,
a vet like Henrique,
he's a good player.
A vet like Henrique, I think, wants to.
I don't mean like he goes to Buffalo again. Yeah. Sorry, Buffalo, but like say
I'm not sorry.
I don't know, any other half decent team is like
Columbus.
Our third line center got injured. Sure, Columbus was like
Toronto.
And I think if Henrique was willing to waive it
Toronto.
all, maybe Toronto.
That's what I mean.
I mean, just he's a Toronto guy or Ontario.
I just think if he was willing to waive it all, he would have waived already to be like, I'm gonna move there and like I'm not doing this whole song and dance in September where I'm trying to find a place to live.
I agree. I also think too, Henrique is a good player.
He's fine.
Henrique?
I think him as your third, fourth line center when playoffs come around.
I want him as a winger.
I have him as a winger, wherever. If he's in your bottom 6, it's not a bad thing to have.
Because he can play center as well. You have a bunch of guys now who can play center and the wing.
There's other guys who make too much money that shouldn't be on this team anyway.
All right, save that for later.